Thanks for reminding me. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Dharaj. All right. So this is the final session in consciousness, and in a way, we've done quite a lot of work, really. We've been kind of developing awareness. Mindfulness of breathing. We've been working on our posture, meditation posture in a broader sense. We've been doing the Metta Bhavana yesterday, and so it's a bit like when we go to the gym. It's not just about the time when we're working out. It's also about the time when we're pausing between working out. So that pausing, that stopping is as important as the actual working, because it gives us a chance to catch up with ourselves, to settle down, for things to even out and that sort of thing. So what we're going to do today is a bit less a bit more of less. So I'm going to lead us in a bodywork thing, and then into a bit of a body scan. But then after that, we're going to lie down in the fetal position for like 10 minutes. I can see Sarah smiling there. So I did this thing about covering your face and like curling over, kind of. So sometimes you just need to kind of curl over and suck our thumb for a bit, and kind of just turn everything off. So relaxation. I think it needs different things, for us to really relax. So one of the things we need is to have something underneath us that we can relax into, like to let go of something solid underneath. So just like that curve. Laying on the floor or on your bed or whatever it is, and just kind of letting go into the ground. And then you need time. That's another thing you need. So just give yourself enough time to just do nothing, just let the ground support you and all that. And then we'll come out of that, and then we'll do a little bit more sitting, and then that'll be it. So, but I'll read at the end of when we're lying down, I'll just read as a verse from some Pureland Buddhism teachings, So it's like the idea that we can make this self effort all the time, but then in a way, unless we're relying on a higher power or, and we're humble, we're humble about what we know, we don't know, then it'll all lead to stress and tension, so we just need to get the help of others, the help of the other, and in a way, I think that's what the Buddha, even though he's the Buddha, he's also turning towards the Dharma as his support, and so we need to turn towards things that will support us, not just be doing it all on our own. So that's what we'll be doing today. So if you want to stand up, we'll do some body work to start with. So let's begin by drumming with your fingers on the top of your head. And being aware of your clothing, on your skin, touching your skin and the air, the ground. Just identifying all the different toes, space between the toes, how your heels feel touching the ground. Anything you can hear coming, sounds coming into your ears. And when we're trying to do body work, it's like we have to give our body enough time. So just being patient, Time is a healer. So just give yourself enough time to just connect. It will happen in its own time. Shake hands out and feet. And then just covering your eyes with your palms of your hands, curving your spine over, bend your knees slightly. Have a sense of being in the fetal position, standing up. Just let go of any idea of having to respond to the world. And we're turning inward, and we're just going to be responding to ourselves, what's going on. So tuning into how you're feeling at the moment. And take some deeper breaths. And breathing out any tension on the out breath. And try to have a sense of your mind and your body being together in the same place, so that one's not ahead of the other. So you're staying connected between your mind and your emotions and your body in the one place. Working together. So just give your face a bit of a wash with your hands. Get into little clefts in your face, dig your fingers in. Whatever works for you. Shake everything out. And then we're going to try and get onto the top of our spine. And however hard you're doing it, maybe try and do it like 2 or 3 times as hard, so that you really are waking your spine up, your top of your body. But be aware if you have any kind of condition, physical condition, just be sensitive to yourself. So, trying to come from the body's perspective, what the body wants, rather than what your mind is interested in doing. The side. And down your arm, the back of your hand. A bit painful if you can. Palm of your hand. Inside of your arm. And then the other arm. Back of your hand. Palms. Chest. Okay, just make it do a bit harder than you might normally. Sides. And then circling on your stomach. Listen to the sound of your hands brushing against your clothing. Being aware of the space around you, the earth below you, the atmosphere above, and vast empty space above that. All the planets. All the hot molten core of the earth. You're not really we're not really aware of these things that much, are we? All the people on the planet. And drum with your kidneys. Drum on your kidneys at the back there, lightly. And then more heavily on your buttocks. Get to the tops of the backs of your legs. And down your legs as much as you can. And shake everything out. Okay, that's the stimulating part. So next, the smoothing, the energy out part. So putting your hands on your stomach. And just wait until your breath calms down. Put your thoughts somewhere else on the other side of the room. We're just doing something physical here with our body. So notice that when you're breathing out, when you're next breathing out, and then bend your knees and then straighten your knees on the in-breath. So go down on the out-breath, up on the in-breath, down on the out-breath. Notice if you're not moving, you're probably thinking too much. And then put your hands out the front, so bringing them up to your chin on the in-breath, down on the out-breath, then up on the in-breath, down on the out-breath, and then past your chin this time into the air, last one. And then just mindfully, without disturbing yourself, just keep your mind and body together in the same place, moving into your meditation posture. So staying in touch with the experience of your body. So now it's a different position that your body's in. So what sensations are going on now in your feet, in your bottom, touching the chair, clothing. So having a sense of time and space, all the moments you've experienced in the past, the moments you'll experience in the future, the present moment, which is where you are now, the dimension of space, the earth underneath you, the massive earth flying through space, mountain ranges and oceans and cities, arriving into your particular place on the earth. Just let that dawn on you. The fact that you have a body, that body has a particular structure to it. So you've got basically three things: bones to support your weight, muscles to move you about, organs to keep you alive. So just aligning your mind with the reality of your body, the physical reality of your body. Try to see where the bones are, where the muscles are, where the organs are. And rather than holding yourself up through an act of will, can you just let your body sit there? It knows how to sit down. And then all you need to do with your mind is just make sure that you're balanced, you're vertical, so that weight will go down through your skeleton into the ground. And then relaxation is like opening a fist. It's like a physical thing. So if your muscles feel confident that they'll be supported by your bones of your body, then you can just actually let go of any tension through the body, starting with the crown of your head. Just imagine that there's space opening up between your skull and your scalp. That the flesh on your scalp is becoming looser. And across your forehead, again, that the flesh there is becoming looser. Imagine a line between your two temples, and just having the idea, suggestion that that line becomes longer without doing anything about it. And imagining a line between your right shoulder and your left knee. Again, without doing anything about that. May the length of that line become longer. And the other side, a line between your left shoulder and your right knee. Without doing anything about that, may that line become longer. So we're inhibiting ourselves from doing anything. Because once we start to do anything, we start to tense up. So we're practicing non-doing, but we are actually making suggestions about things. So just imagining a triangle between the center of your chest and your right shoulder and your right earlobe. John, you're not muted. Thanks. Yeah, imagining a triangle between your center of your chest, your right shoulder, right earlobe. May the sides of the triangle become longer. Same on the other side. Left shoulder, center of the chest, left earlobe. May the sides of the triangle become longer. Taking your attention to the top of your neck, where your head balances on top of your spine. May that joint become free to move so that your head rises up towards the ceiling and your neck releases and your back becomes longer and wider. Again, not doing anything about it, just have that idea. Just a gentle suggestion. May that joint be free to move so that my head can just rise up towards the ceiling and my neck can release and my back can just become longer and wider. And taking your attention to your shoulder joints, sending the suggestion, may my shoulder joints be free to move. So my arms can extend away from my shoulder joints, lengthening. May my elbows be free to move. So my forearms can move away from my elbows, lengthening. May my wrists be free to move. So my hands can extend away from my wrists, lengthening. May my finger joints be free to move. So my fingers can extend away from my hands, lengthening. May my hip joints be free to move. So my legs can move away from my hips, lengthening. My knees free to move. So my lower legs can extend away from my knees, lengthening. Ankles free to move. So my feet can extend away from my ankles, lengthening. My toes free to move. So my toe joints be free to move so that my toes can move away from my feet, lengthening. So now, while keeping mind and body together in the same place, just mindfully moving now into position on the ground or on your bed or whatever, and getting into fetal position. So we're going to be in this position for 10 minutes. I'll ring the bell after 10 minutes. So just remembering that to relax, you need to have at least those two things, something solid underneath you and time. And then to be inhibiting yourself from doing anything. If you have a temptation to do anything, resist it. And try to really curve up as much as you can into that fetal position. Just completely let go of trying anything, trying to do anything. So now just keeping mind and body together in the same place without rushing. In your own time, just coming back into your meditation posture. No rushing. Come on, you're all rushing there. I can see it. Big brother's watching you. Okay, so just trying to keep the same attitude of not making effort. Settling into your posture. I'm just going to do a reading, which is from Pureland Buddhism, which expresses the idea that no matter how good we are, no matter how much effort we make to be a good person and all that sort of thing, in the end, it's irrelevant from the point of view of Amitabha's vow. So Amitabha has pledged to save all beings, and no matter how, how good they are, how bad they are. In fact, the worse you are, the more likely you are to get saved. So it's really reassuring that, we can be making effort all the time, but in the end, somehow we've just got to trust that it's going to be all right, that we're going to get help from beyond ourselves. Good deeds are of no effect. The idea is, however good a person may be, they are incapable, with all their deeds of goodness, of effecting rebirth in Amida's land of recompense. Much less so with bad people. Except for the three evil paths of existence, where else can their evil deeds bear fruit? Being so, good deeds are of no effect, and evil deeds are of no hindrance as regards rebirth. Even the rebirth of good men, good people, is impossible without being helped by Amida's specific vow, issuing from his great love and compassion, which are not at all of this world. How happy I am! My mind is established on the Buddha land of the profound vow. My thought is set afloat on the sea of the inconceivable doctrine. I have experienced the Tathagata's compassion deeply, and I sincerely cherish the kindness of my teacher. Happiness abounds, reverence grows deeper, because here are gathered the teachings of Shinshu, and the essentials of the Pure Land are manifested. I am only mindful of the depth of Buddha's grace, and I am not ashamed at the ridicule of men and women. Those who have attained the adamantine true mind transcend the 5 realms and the 8 difficulties to seeing a Buddha, and they attain assuredly in this life 10 blessings. What are these 10? 1 is the blessing of the protection of spiritual power. 2, possession of highest virtue. 3, the blessing of transforming evil into good. 4, protection of all the Buddhas. 5, the blessing of being praised by all Buddhas. 6, always protected by the light of the mind of the Buddhas. 7, the blessing of always having a joyous mind. 8, the blessing of being mindful of the grace of the Buddha and requiting virtue. 9, always practicing compassion. 10, the blessing of entrance into the company of the truly assured. So just sitting for about 7 minutes. So I was having a sense of the grace of Amitabha coming towards you unconditionally. You don't need to be doing anything particular. You don't need to be a good person. You don't need to be trying. It will just happen, whatever you do. There is always help there. So just taking your time to come out of that meditation. And if you want to leave now, if you feel in that sort of state, please do so. If you want to stay for chat, do that as well.
Hello, Mahabodhi.
Yeah. So,
Hi, thank you very much. That was really, really great. I had a few questions about what you meant about help is always there, and I suppose something that I've been struggling with, just the idea of these different Buddhas, and that there's part of me that kind of thinks that there can be a lot of thinking about all these different aspects and the 10 things of this and the 8 things of that, and I'm not very familiar with any of it.
Yeah.
And somehow that thinking part of it gets away from the spaciousness, and the help, that there's always help there. Does that mean external? Yeah, I kind of
I know what you're
my mind's going.
Oh. Yeah. Well, the history of Pureland Buddhism is that briefly is that in a way, maybe people getting into those sorts of states where they're going, oh, it's all a bit complicated and all that sort of thing. There's 37 of this and there's 10 of that. You know, 37 wings to awakening. What's that? And in a way, it's like we can all get wrapped up in our own trying to do, you know, trying to make progress and all that sort of thing. And so there's a Japanese saint called Shinran who he's doing all that. He's doing all the monk thing and all that. And then he just realized that he wasn't really getting anywhere, you know. So he just packed it in and he stopped being a monk and he just wandered about. And his teaching was that everything came from outside of him. Everything came from Amida Buddha, you know, Amitabha. And he just gave his whole life over to Amitabha, and he says, look, I'm an idiot, you know, I'm a sort of stupid person. So he called himself a bompo, which is like a kind of, you know, stubble-headed idiot or something. And he just so it's like a kind of radical like humility, you know, what the hell do I know, you know? And I got to that point last night. I just thought, I felt really full up. I'm doing like 8 classes this week, and I thought, I've just felt I can't think of another thing, you know. But it was really helpful to be in a meeting with other people and just to remember this thing about power beyond ourselves, you know, that sometimes we just have to give up and give ourselves over to the idea that there is a way, that there's a way of doing things that's beyond what we know, you know. You know, there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger heart, you know, out there, you know, there's a possibility of that. And in a way that's represented by the Buddhas, and different Buddha figures represent just different aspects of enlightenment, you know, but they just represent the fact that there's more than me, you know, there's more to life than what I know, and there's more to. So these Jodo Shinshu, which means Pureland, true faith. It's like we need faith, you know, we need to have some faith in something, you know. So it's that whole aspect of Buddhism is just constructed around the idea that we need faith. So we have this myth of Amitabha is always there for us, and he made this vow to save all beings, you know, and we kind of believe in his vow that he is. We're all, if we chant his name or something, or we bearing in mind, or we believe what the scriptures say, that we'll end up in the Pure Land where everything's just fantastic and easy, and it's easy to hear the Dharma, and the conditions are just great, you know. So it's a myth, it's a story, you know. But the point with stories is that if we join in with them and believe in them and choose to believe in them, then they can just be really helpful, you know. So believing that we're not alone is, you know, that the vow, Amitabha's vow is saying you're not alone, you know, that there's a possibility of help out there in the universe, you know. And it might be from your imagination, for you imagine something, but it might just be from other people and come through other people. And so there's the danger with self-power, which is like we're trying to do it all ourselves, is that one, we just feel isolated, you know, and struggling, you know, and all that. So it's really helpful to have this sense of other power, you know, where we're actually, we need other people, we need inspiration from outside ourselves. And yeah.
Great.